My name's Sam, and this is my channel. Do 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 do. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Sam, and today I'll be answering questions from the Booktube Newbie Tag. So let's get right into it. Question number 1. Why did you start this channel? So I really like reading and writing a lot, and I feel like I haven't been able to do a lot of it recently, so I wanted to start a YouTube channel to kind of prompt me into reading and writing a little bit more. I also really like poetry, and I saw that there was kind of a gap in the booktube community that nobody was really filling. So I wanted to put myself forward and try and fill that gap in the booktube community and put out some poetry myself. 2. What are some fun and unique things that you could bring to Booktube? So like I said, I really feel like there's a gap in the Booktube community that not a lot of people are reaching. I've seen people do Booktube cooking videos and fashion videos and things like that, but I've never seen anybody really go forth and dedicate themselves to making a channel that's more than just book reviews. I wanted to do a channel that encompassed all of my geeky interests. So what I'm looking forward to is expanding the world of Booktube that I see. Number 3, what are you most excited about for this new channel? So I'm really excited to have a medium where I can put my slam poetry into a more music video type of style, and I'm excited to experiment with all the filmmaking aspects to that and share it with the community. And I've always wanted to take my poetry and make it a step further, and I'm really hoping that YouTube could be the place for that. I'd really like to be experimental and artsy and see what I can do with my writing. Question number 4. Why do you love reading? So one of the main things that amuses me about reading is the world building itself. I love getting lost in new worlds and the different dynamics they have to them. I love exploring the rules of different magic systems. I love learning the currency and the geography. I really enjoy immersing myself into a whole new experience that's completely different from anything that I've ever personally experienced. I really love meeting the characters and comparing them to friends in my life and seeing if I would actually be friends with these people or if I would really not like these people. I enjoy applying myself to the story and seeing how I would fit in this world. Question number 5. What book or series got you into reading? So I'd have to say that there are 2 different series that really cemented my love of reading. First would be the Magic Tree House series. I really enjoyed thinking that I was one of those kids running off to a magic adventure, thinking that if I opened a book, it would take me to that world and that I'd have to fight my way back into reality. That, in and of itself, was such a magical experience for me that the book itself cemented my love of reading. I also really loved Goosebumps books. While being a little more grounded in the reality of our world, I loved the monsters and the horror. When I was a kid, there really wasn't anything age-specific for me to enjoy horror-wise, and my family were big horror fans. So I was constantly watching scary movies, reading scary stories, and there was nothing for my age. And then I discovered Goosebumps. It was something brand new that I had never known before, and it was something that sparked this inner joy within me. And still years later, I love reading psychological thrillers and Stephen King books, and I feel like that love of horror really only takes place because of my instinctive need for the Goosebumps books. Number 6. Questions you would ask your favorite booktubers. So my number 1 question for booktubers is, where do you find the time? I see booktubers reading over 100 and something books a year, reading like 10 books in a month, and pumping out 4 videos a week. And I personally don't know where you get the energy. I mean, I'm downing like 3 coffees a day and still barely have the energy to do my dishes. And I'd really love to be in a place where I'm reading at least like a book a month. That would really be a nice goal for me, and I'm trying to figure out where to put that in the space of my life. And I'm hoping YouTube is something that ends up helping with that. Number 7. What challenges about having a booktube channel do you think will be the hardest to overcome? Like I said earlier, I'm not really that good with time management or having the energy to do things, so I think the hardest part of this YouTube channel for me will be to be consistent. And I'm going to try really hard with that, so I've set a good foundation of one video a week every Wednesday, and I'm hoping to stick with that for as long as I can and hopefully amp up the content, and hoping that this is what pushes me over the edge. For me personally, it's going to be one of the hardest challenges to overcome. I really enjoy reading, I really enjoy writing, and I really enjoy editing, but it takes time and energy to do all these things that I don't necessarily have all the time. So it's going to be a challenge to push myself, and I'm hoping that this leads me to becoming a better person overall, but at least in my reading and writing abilities. Number 8. When did you start reading? So I remember being taught to read in kindergarten, and we started out with the Sad Sam books, and I was always a really good reader. So it never occurred to me that I was faster than the other kids picking up on things until I got to about 2nd grade. And that's when we started reading slightly more complicated books. So we used to have like circle time where all the kids would gather around and our teacher would read us a book. And I was so enthralled with the story that I would have my grandmother go and pick me up a copy of whatever story we were reading in class. And then I would sit there and try to follow along with what we had read the previous day. And then I would try to read ahead so I knew what the story was going to be. So I started reading books on my own about midway through 2nd grade because I was so enthralled with the stories that we were reading that I needed to know what was going to happen before the next day. Number 9. Where do you read? So I don't have a particular place that I read, but I do have particular things that I like when I read. I really like to have something to drink and something warm like a blanket. I also really prefer if it's either quiet or if there's some nice low music in the background. Either way, I can pretty much read anywhere. And finally, number 10. What kind of books do you like to read? My favorite type of books are like fantasy adventure books. I really like the hero's arc and watching them go on journeys. World building in general. The entire Percy Jackson series was really great for me. And in general, anything with a really complex plot or a lot of plot twists, I really enjoy as well. Sci-fi is a hit or miss for me, and I really don't enjoy romance novels, but I do really enjoy slice of life novels as well, or just like typical, average, everyday, like rom-coms, and I'll read those when I'm in the mood for it, but in general, my tastes tend to lean towards the side of YA, fantasy, action-adventure, and things like that. So that was the Booktube Newbie Tag. I hope you guys learned a little bit about me, and maybe I'll do another Q&A sometime later to answer more questions. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe for more shenanigans, and I hope you have a good day.